and only one of you. -1.
My ears just orgasmed. That was so cool.
It's kind of nice seeing a different variety of Oni in this scene. You know, it's not just because in the Mortal Kombat Shaolin monks, I think there was like only one type of Oni I've seen. I remember seeing anyway, and I think they updated that so there's like multiple different types of Oni that look different in the Mortal Kombat lore. So it's nice to see more than just them all look like basically like baby Molochs just running around, because the Oni in Shaolin monks look like baby Molochs, basically. Whereas in this game, this movie, and in the games now, they look a little. There's more variety to them, so I appreciate that. I also love the idea of Scorpion going against all these Oni and actually killing every single one of them. Like, that's fucking insane. You know, Scorpion can be a bit. I guess I don't want to say OP, because I mean it's just a bunch of Oni versus a fucking skilled art fighter like Scorpion. But I don't know. That's just part of me might want to see that fucking bloodbath. Got a lot of MK9 vibes from that. The opening of MK9, it had the vultures picking up the corpses and stuff. Here we got the crows doing the same thing. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but you know, it's nice to see.
Shinnok!
I am Quan Chi, in charge of this realm until the Master's return. And who do I have to thank for ruining my rug?
What rug exactly? Because it looks like just nothing but stone floors there. Okay, then.
Did you think me defenseless, dog? In my realm, no less. You may be a vengeful spirit, but even they have their limits.
My man folded up Scorpion like cheap laundry. And also, keep this power in mind, because I will come back to it later when he fights Scorpion at the end of the movie. I will come back to that, because you see how easily he just dispatches Scorpion in this scene, and then versus, like, later in the fucking movie. I guess there's a slight difference to that, and I'll explain it, but this power right here can solve a lot of Quan Chi's problems if he just used it a lot more often.
Long ago, my master Shinnok was unjustly imprisoned. This is the key to his release. It's being kept at the Temple of Shang Tsung, the putrid mortal that has the favor of the Emperor of Outworld.
Or, and bear with me on this, you could just morph into another person, maybe one of Shang Tsung's guards, sneak in, take the medallion, get yourself, and get the hell out of there. That seems... you wouldn't even need Scorpion in this case. But I also like that they acknowledge that Shang Tsung's a mortal, because a lot of people... some people seem to forget Shang Tsung is a human. He is still human. He just learns how to soul steal. And I would love to see an origin story about how Shang Tsung joined Shao Kahn. The closest we got to a Shang Tsung origin story was an episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest called The Master. And it explained Shang Tsung's origin. He actually did fight for Earthrealm in Mortal Kombat. He was turned to evil by Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn taught him to soul steal, which makes no sense whatsoever, because Shao Kahn keeps Shang Tsung around because Shang Tsung knows how to do that. But if Shao Kahn can just do it himself, why would he even need Shang Tsung in the first place? But anyway, that's a story for another time. But I like that they acknowledge Shang Tsung's a human, a mortal. But I also don't know why Quan Chi needs Scorpion in the first place, because that doesn't make any sense for him to need Scorpion if he can just easily get it himself with all the powers at his disposal.
Do we understand each other, Hanzo?
Hanzo is dead. Call me Scorpion.
That is the third time I've heard that line used. It was in Mortal Kombat Conquest and Mortal Kombat Legacy, I think he used it as well.
Hanzo Hasashi is dead. My name is Scorpion.
Watashi no na wa Scorpion.
Takeda is no more. I am Scorpion.
Hold the boat! I'm coming!
Maybe it's because of the perspective, but those logs do not look as big as it does in the far shot. Maybe again, maybe it's a perspective thing. I don't know, but that just looked like they had to work for that one.
Coming through. I'm
I love that stink face Liu Kang gives him. That straight white man, am I right? I don't know what the hell that was about.
Liu Kang, of the White Lotus Society.
Johnny Cage of the superstar variety, but you probably knew that. And you are?
Not interested.
Nobody cares! Nobody cares.
But who's that? Let me guess. He's kind of like our, Merlin?
That is Lord Raiden, protector of Earthrealm.
Boom. Nailed it. Wait, Earthrealm? Did you guys get a script already or something? Look, I'd love a copy. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I am pretty good at improv, so,
This is a bizarre thing when Johnny Cage spends most of the movie not knowing what people are talking about, not knowing what's going on. He thinks this whole thing is a movie, and it's like, you'd think after a while he'd catch on, but I guess he doesn't for like a majority of the film, and kind of makes Johnny Cage look more like an idiot than anything else. Like that, he figured that shit out. Like in the Mortal Kombat 9 game, he figured that out pretty quickly that it wasn't a movie. Like he was, like after his chapter alone, he figured out, oh yeah, this ain't a movie. This is real. This is some real shit going on, you know. But here it's like, nah, he spends like about a good 60% of the movie thinking it's an act. Like probably until, I think it's until after he fights Baraka when he kind of catches on. I think, or actually no, I think it's sometime after that. I think it was. Where he tells Liu Kang, hey, I don't think this is a movie. And Liu Kang's like, okay. We all knew this. Thank you. So I don't know. It just kind of makes Johnny look a bit dumb in this movie.
Lord Raiden, right? Good to meet you. So tell me more about this veil.
The space between realms to prevent Outworld from merging with Earthrealm.
Prevented by what?
Always the soldier. Evaluating risks.
This motherfucker. It's always the soldier. Like, it's not that deep, Ray. Just answer the fucking question. It's just, the fuck? Or do you have to consult with the elder gods before you can answer that too?
If Shao Kahn wins this tournament, Earth as you know it will cease to exist.
Not to fear, Lord Raiden. I, Johnny Cage, will make sure that Earthrealm, so dumb, will be safe from harm. You have my word on it.
First off, I love that little
So dumb.
from Johnny Cage. He's like, what an asshole of a person he is. I also love that look Raiden gives him at the end of that scene. He's just like, I could fucking kill you right now. He just got the look of death in his eyes. Fucking hell.
Are you kidding me? I paid extra for international and I can't even get a signal. Raiden, are you getting one?
That was actually one of the funniest scenes in the movie. Fucking Johnny Cage is like, hey Raiden, you got a signal? And he just immediately lobs his phone over the ship. Like, that's fucking crazy. Alright, that was actually one of the funniest scenes in the movie. Probably the funniest, because I don't remember many funny scenes in this movie. Okay, that was the second funniest scene in the movie.
That must be the bad guy.
It's actually a neat little line from Johnny Cage about how that's gotta be the bad guy, just based on his looks, you know. And it kind of makes me upset also because it's like, this was the exact logic that NetherRealm used to make Sindel evil all of a sudden. Like, she was always evil. Like, that was their logic. She looks evil, so let's make her evil. Like, what? Also, there is a famous video, I think it was Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm Review Episode 2, where it's called Sting of the Scorpion. And he has a pretty interesting thing about, you know, Scorpion's appearance, you know, contrasting with how he actually is. And how the media outside of the game kind of treats his character based on his look, or how they make him a villain all the time. Probably based purely on his looks.
His spirit rose, seeking refuge in the realm of honored dead. Scorpion's demise was without honor. he was refused entrance.
Wow, already the Scorpion backstory is horribly off, as Scorpion is usually a pretty honorable character despite him looking evil. That's actually one of the reasons I always found Scorpion to be an interesting character, because by all accounts you'd think he'd be a bad guy, but he's really more of the anti-hero vigilante type. So he was a much more complex character than you'd initially think.
By all the powers of evil, I will not rest until I have my revenge.
Or you could just dumb him down to being so evil that he even says, by all the powers of evil. I hate takes on Scorpion that just make him boring like this. You could still have him working for the bad guys at the beginning of this episode, as Scorpion is flipped sometimes during the stories if he's been promised the resurrection of his family or clan or something. And then you've got something much more interesting than, "Mwahaha, I'm evil for the sake of evil."
One at a time, everybody, one at a time.
Brought enough for everyone, okay.
Where'd you guys put my trailer? I'd like to freshen up before we start shooting.
I agree, Sonia. This is a pretty unlikable version of Johnny Cage. But anyway, back to your unlikable version.
He has no idea what he's doing. Should we tell him?
His journey is one of discovery. Besides, I find it amusing.
Love that little touch of the old Raiden from the 95 movie. Because yeah, Raiden in the 95 movie was a little more jokey, a little more fun. You know, and then I think the best Raiden we've ever got was Jeff Meek's Raiden from Conquest.
Give my love to the Zeros.
You know, he was pretty damn cool. But this one's kind of got a touch of that in that little statement about, hey, I find it amusing. I find it funny. Even though he gave him the look of death earlier. I also love that Johnny Cage is like passing out these autographs to these monks, and they're just looking like, what the fuck is this? I don't even know what the hell's going on. They're like, okay, thank you. I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say this, and I agree wholeheartedly. I do not look like that look of his face out like above the mask. That little bumpy forehead. Like, I think Tabmock in Phalis' review described it as like the Thing from the Fantastic Four, and that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like the Thing, and I'm just trying to figure out why did they do that. Because if you look at his, because he's wearing an outfit similar to the one he wore in MKX, and if you look at his MKX model, he doesn't have any of that. So I don't know what that's supposed to be or why it's like that, but that is a pretty shit design choice, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, let's go down the list. I think we got someone who looks like Kai, not the groomer, but in fact Mortal Kombat 4 is Kai. And we got, I guess, Reptile, but that looks different. So that might be just another Zaterran just there. I didn't know, there was a lot of Zaterrans left, because I thought Zatera was pretty much extinct minus Reptile. And we have Motaro, or Motaro's people, as they say in Mortal Kombat Conquest for some reason. Motaro's people, or centaurs or centaurans. I think it's probably centaurs, because Centauran sounds more like Zaterran, which is what Reptile is. But yeah, that might be Motaro himself, though. I don't know for sure. But that's nice. These are nice little... These background characters look far better than they did in fucking Journey Begins. And granted, that cartoon was like 25 years ago. I get that. But there's no excuse for the shitty animation and character design in that, and some of those background characters. There's no excuse for that. SJW moments in Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge. Let me look in the background for any large midgets. Are there any large midgets in this scene? There's a suspicious amount of women in here, though. I can tell you that. Oh, God, no bullshit. I can't believe no bullshit even said any of that. There's a suspicious amount of women in Black Panther. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? Oh, Brooks, don't ever change, please. Please remain this stupid forever, please. Like, there's a little bit of foreshadowing here. You see Sonya look over and there's a bunch of Black Dragon goons there. You won't see the Black Dragon goons until later in the movie, but it's a little bit of foreshadowing, so you see that Kano's already on the island. Kano already has his guys there, so... I didn't actually pick up on that when I first saw it. I just thought, hey, background characters and stuff. But then I look back, I look at this a second time, I'm like, oh yeah, those are Kano's goons from later on. We like to get lit before we pull a man's heart out of his dick hole.
Hey, do you know if any of this stuff is organic? Just asking. Jeez.
There's a little bit to unpack here. First of all, that is Nitara, who was in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, if I'm not mistaken. That or Deception, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure she was in Deadly Alliance. I don't remember her in Deception. But she was in the later Mortal Kombat games in the 3D era. And she's going to be in a new Mortal Kombat movie, the 2021 movie. I am not looking forward to that movie because, number one, not only is she in there, but they got Cabal. They got this new character called Cole, whose backstory sounds like Johnny Cage, but they just replaced him with Cole. And according to the leaks, he might be the son of Scorpion or some shit. Jesus Christ. That's number one. Number two, the set photos I've seen from that looks like Mortal Kombat Legacy. Like it looks like they just remade Mortal Kombat Legacy because it looks exactly like that to a certain extent. I also love that after she snarls at him and he kind of brushes her off, but like, all right, geez. She kind of looks like, oh, he wasn't scared. He wasn't scared by me. But then she goes back to her drink and she kind of checks him out a bit. I'm like, okay. It'd be nice to see a little bit of Nitara in this series. They're kind of doing, Netherrealm's kind of doing the MK9 thing, which is adding characters who were never in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, of the first tournament, at least in the Mortal Kombat, like, series tournaments. Like, they were never there, but put them in there anyway. Baraka, Reptile, actually, they're in this movie, so there's that's well, Reptile technically was in the first one, but he didn't participate in the tournament, from my understanding. But Baraka, fucking Nitara, Nightwolf was in, I think, MK9, Cyrax and Sector are like, okay, we're just adding everybody. Where's fucking Striker? Why don't we put him in here too? You know, put in fucking, give Jax his metal arm. Oh shit. That's what they're doing in the new Mortal Kombat movie too. I seen Makad Brooks with the metal arms. Plus, they memed the hell out of him because he looks like fucking Steve Harvey. But yeah, they're doing that too. Oh my god. I guarantee he lost his arms or some shit. I'll get into that later, but that's fucking crazy. But yeah, I'm not necessarily complaining about Nitara being here, because he's just merely a cameo anyway, and I don't care about the other characters showing up. I just find it funny that NetherRealm is kind of doing that now, where it's like, you know, we'll make a thing based on the first Mortal Kombat game. Put in like fucking Noob Saibot and Motaro and Shao Kahn, and you're like, what? So I don't know. It's just kind of, I find that kind of bizarre that they do that nowadays. Can't tell if Aaron Black's dad or Sam Elliott. This is one of the only times you see a classic design used, and it's been used for Shang Tsung. All the other characters in this movie have designs from the other games, from the actual games, from MKX most specifically. But this is the only time you see an MKX design, MK3 design used. And I guess I'm assuming the next time you see Shang Tsung, and assuming they follow the game's story, if next time we see Shang Tsung, he'll be the younger Shang Tsung because Shao Kahn revives him. So my assumption is they'll either use the alternate MK9 design with of the younger Shang Tsung, or they'll use the MK11 design, which I feel like you probably shouldn't do unless you're going to bring in Karyuki Tagawa. But that's just me. I'm okay with this stuff. I like that they showed the old school MK3 designs. Also love that they showed the Great Kung Lao in this. I just remember they showing the death of the Great Kung Lao, and that's something that's been in Mortal Kombat for the longest time. They depicted that. I think the last time they depicted the Great Kung Lao in anything other than, actually in anything other than, I guess Mortal Kombat Conquest technically was the Great Kung Lao, but I guess they took the Great Kung Lao and the regular, like, present-day Kung Lao and merged them into one character in Conquest. But also, Mortal Kombat Journey Begins had Kung Lao as well. And they depicted both of those Kung Laos as, like, the Kung Lao from MK3, or in Journey Begins' case, MK2, because that looked like MK2 Kung Lao. So this is kind of the first time I've seen in animation a Kung Lao that's not MK3. They just not just lazily throwing MK3 Kung Lao in the mix, because I guess they assumed the Great Kung Lao was the Kung Lao from MK3. I don't know why people would have thought that. You know, I get why people would think that without knowing the context, but I don't know why people who worked on the movie would think that when they have Ed Boon right there or John Tobias right there to talk to as far as that goes.